Welcome everyone to Virtual Korean Class Lesson 5. Today, we're going to learn bottom consonants called 받침. 받침. You're probably wondering, I thought we already learned consonants. Well, we did. Today, we're going to learn how those consonants act when they're underneath everything. That will make more sense when I show you later. But first, let me tell you how today's lesson is going to go. We're going to learn 받침, then I'll show you some vocabulary. After that, we'll do a quick practice to retain everything we learned. Then I'll give you your homework, which you can find in Google Classroom as well, so we can wrap things up for the week. Let's get started. Our first 받침 is ni은. We learned that ni은 makes the N sound. But what about as a 받침? It still makes the N sound. I'm going to show you 3 words that have ni은 as a 받침. Our first one starts off with nu. Nu. I want ni은 as a 받침, so I'm going to write it right under nu. This makes it sound like nun. Nun. See how ni은 still sounds like N? Our next one starts with sa. Sa. I'm going to write ni은 right underneath sa. So now it sounds like 산. 산. Our next one is going to start with chi. Chi. Ni은 will be right underneath it, so it's 침. 침. I'm using real words, so I'm adding 구 to make it 친구. These are the meanings for each word. Our next 받침 is 미음. We learned that 미음 makes the M sound, and as a 받침, it still makes the M sound. Our first word starts with 고. Go. I want to make 미음 a 받침, so I write it right underneath go. Now it's 곰. 곰. Our second word starts with 꾸르. 꾸르. I'm ending it with 미음, so now it's 꾸름. 꾸름. Our third word starts with 끄리. 끄리. I'm ending it with 미음, so now it's 끄림. These are their meanings. Our third 받침 is 이응. We've learned that 이응 is silent, but as a 받침, 이응 makes the NG sound. What I'm going to do is write all 3 words right now. Because by this point, you should understand that 받치ms go under everything. After that though, I will pronounce each word so you can get used to iung as a 받침. The first word is gong. The second word is bang. The third word is 안경. Here are their meanings. Our last 받침 is 리을. We learned that 리을 makes a rolled R sound, but as a 받침, it makes an L sound. I'm going to do what I did for iung and write everything now and pronounce it later. The first one's pronounced 달. The second one, 말. The third one, 하늘. Here are their meanings. Let me tell you guys about a Korean reading rule real quick. Basically, if something has a 받침 and the next part starts with iung, the 받침 sound will carry over. Let me show you so that makes more sense. So the first one is spelled 문-이, but as you can see in parentheses, it's pronounced 문이. The second one, it's spelled 밤에, but it's pronounced 밤에. Number 3, it's spelled 살암, but it's pronounced 사람. And number 4, it's spelled 강아지, but it's still pronounced 강아지. Of course, I accidentally spelled it 강이지 in parentheses. Now you're probably wondering why it's still pronounced the same. Well, that's because there's an exception. Now don't overwhelm yourself. I'm gonna post a link in the description box for you to use as a reference as you read along your Korean learning career. I learned something new yesterday, so don't feel overwhelmed to learn it all in one day. Use it as a reference guide. Take your time with it, and you'll do great. 친구, 친구. 엄마, 엄마. 구름, 구름. 그림, 그림. 가방, 가방. 하늘, 하늘. 안경, 안경. 물병, 물병. It's quick practice time. Here's what we'll do today. I'm going to say a word and 2 options will show up on your screen. It's up to you to figure out which option matched what I said. The answer will show up right after the question, but I encourage you to figure out your answer first. If you need more time, pause the video. Let's get started. 곰, 곰. This was the answer. 곰. 말, 말. This is the answer. 말, 산, 산. This is the answer. 산, 가방, 가방. This is the answer. 가방. Let me give you your homework before you go. First, memorize all the vocabulary and write them down in the Google Classroom document. Next, listen to what I'm going to say and write down what you hear in that same Google Classroom document. Let's begin. Number 1, 몸, 몸. Number 2, 길, 길. Number 3, 손, 손. Number 4, 왕, 왕. Play those back if you need to, and I'll see you next week. 안녕.